They said the truth won't survive beside the lies that maintain the decaying faces of. Hey everybody, this is Hold the Truth Hostage, where if the truth was so important, we wouldn't negotiate lies. And this video is gonna be about why feminism is actually fueling the future. Now, there's a lot of, in the manosphere and in videos all over YouTube, there's a lot of, and a lot of articles, everything. There's a lot of them talking about, well, feminism is going to destroy the West. It's going to destroy the human population. It's going to destroy the, manhood. It's going to destroy fatherhood. It's going to destroy everything. And I used to be one of the people that, went with that and believed it. But then I realized, then I thought more about it outside of the surface level and realized that feminism is actually fueling the future. Now, why is feminism fueling the future? Now, I'm not going to go, too far back. I'm not going to basically, I'm trying to keep my videos more where I stick right down the middle, right on the line. The reason feminism is fueling the future. Now, let's go back. Let's go back in time a little. 1920, the government, all the male government members came together. A lot of men in general came together and gave women the right to vote, Now, that was one of the huge aspects of feminism. They gave them the right to vote so the government could have a loophole. The government, later down the road, the government wanted a way to no longer need just male votes, and a way to manipulate the votes on because the issue is this: if you just have men voting, you gotta talk, you gotta fit their ideals, and you gotta represent stuff, and that, it's more work. So when the government gave women the right to vote, the government left a huge loophole. The loophole was this: that if they, for example, I do this a lot in my videos, but I do this because I got to introduce you into a logical level of thinking beyond the surface so you could keep up with me. So the government gave women the right to vote with the intent of using that to where they could no longer need male votes. So, for example, they left a huge loophole. Let's say 500,000 women voted for this thing, and let's say 400,000 men voted. Now, the government left a loophole. The loophole is this: they didn't leave a way where they could balance it out. As in, if there are far more women voting than men, and it's close, they don't have a way to balance it out. They don't say, okay, 500,000 women voted, 400,000 men voted, so we're going to equalize it so it's only 400,000. That way it's not, if we appeal to one sex, we could get all the votes we need and throw away the votes from the other sex. So that's the major loophole the government left open. Now, the government wouldn't put it into action absolute until, I'd say, about 1990, 1942. A lot of women were working in the factories, helping out when the men went to war. So the government saw that and, started pushing it further. And then you fast forward, you see I think it was 19, I think it was, yeah, it had to be 1959 or 1969. The government created the no-fault divorce. The reason for that is they wanted to put the incentive absolutely in the female sex's hand, that they want to be able to give them resources without fault. So the government wanted to make sure they appeal to the female sex and eliminate the need for the male sex vote. So, you know, and the government wanted to eliminate, for years, before women could vote, women could count on protection and provisions from their man. As in, a lot of wives, daughters, and so on would look towards the male figure in their family for support and for stability. Now, once the government passed no fault divorce and passed the voting, they gave women voting rights with that major loophole, as I was saying before, they could eliminate that stability and dependency on the male figures in the woman's life. Now, let's fast forward. Now, why is feminism fueling the future? Now, there's a lot of red pill channels and MGTOW channels, Manosphere, a lot of political figures that are, looking at feminism. Even a lot of YouTubers, gaming, and so on are looking at feminism as a negative. Now, it does have some, it has a lot of negatives to it, but what feminism is here for is to create a great divide between men and women. The reason for this is that it's going to fuel the future and the ultimate and eliminate the ultimate weakness that men have. The ultimate weakness that we, the male, the males in the human species have is that it's our dependency on the female half to reproduce and what's going and to bond with. Because notice, after feminism, and you could see what feminism did. Feminism fueled, like I said, it's all about the separation between men and women. So what it did, notice that we started getting more things that pushed women apart from men. So now another thing it had to do with is it created the adaptation and the acceptance of a falsehood. Makeup became more prominent. Makeup used to be for events and so on. Feminism was training women, and I'll do another video on, why feminism is the sacrifice of femininity. I'll do a video on that, but feminism fuels the future because notice it had women wear more makeup, more illusions, to hide what they truly are. And then the biggest thing, the biggest advance between a separation between males, men and women is the high rate of plastic surgery. Now, a lot of women get, fake implants, be it for their breast or their ass or their lips, fillers and so on. Now, what women don't understand is that all you're doing is you're training men. You already have men accepting you with the illusion of makeup, all that makeup. And not that men really like makeup on that level. It's like a woman applying Halloween for her is every day. But, I digress. So now what the women don't understand is that you're training men to accept, plastic. You know what I'm saying? It ain't plastic. I forget the material. Yeah, silicone. You're training men to accept you with silicone. You're training him to accept that, yeah, you touch fake breast or, your fake ass, fake lips, even fake, face. You know what I'm saying? When they have plastic surgery on their face, that it's okay. It's normal. It's all right. You're basically training men to, to look at, for example, like we have a rise of plastic dolls, or what they used to call them, sex dolls, but now they just calling them dolls. And the biggest thing about that is this: women used to be called dolls. You know what I'm saying? It used to be a man's favorite toy was a woman. You know what I mean? When it came to what he wants to play with and have fun with, they used to refer to women as dolls. Hey, doll, how you doing, toots? That type of stuff. But now let's get back to it. So, what women don't understand with feminism is all about, erasing the connection between men and women, especially on the level of needs. And and what it's done with plastic surgery, the silicone, all that fakeness, is that it's promoting to men that it doesn't matter if your woman is 100% organic. Then once the sex doll came, now you got to add up, women have their own toys, the dildos and so on. But you know what I mean? But men need something. Now you have the laws the way they are, where, women, no fault divorce, child support, all that's so biased and against the man. But, men still want the interaction and the feel of a woman. Now, a lot of these men have been trained that, silicone breast, silicone ass, thighs, plastic surgery on the face is acceptable. It's okay. So now the risk with a real woman that has silicone and all that plastic over her body is the risk of false allegations, um, being put on child support, uh, divorce and alimony. So a lot more men are heading towards where they're going to have a doll in their life, a doll made out of silicone. And it's not only that. What's going to happen, and what a lot of women don't understand, and that fell for feminism, which is the majority, is that they don't understand that men do not exist in problems. Men exist in solutions. So, there's going to be a lot of men that will fall to divorce and child support, go to jail for that, and so on. But, we all know as men that all it takes is one man to give a solution, and it'll solve everything. So now you have sex dolls and so on. A lot more men are buying sex dolls and so on, to fulfill that need to be around a female body. And remember, they've been trained to accept, you got the Kim Kardashians, silicone breasts, silicone ass, the whole body is fake. So you've made it acceptable for men to be around a woman that's not organic at all. And in fact, they celebrate it. Because at the end of the day, a woman getting fake breast and all that stuff, it's making profit. It's making money, So now you have that. You have men, you've trained them to be acceptant of inorganic women body parts. And what men are looking at is, with a doll, I don't have to worry about, like I said, false allegations, domestic violence. I don't have to worry about anything. But now on a deeper level, there's another thing that's coming, and that's gonna be the virtual reality. The problem with the silicone and doll is that it's limited, and it's gonna cost, in the long run, it doesn't cost more than being in a real relationship because, alimony, child support, that cost. Even if a sex doll was around, let's say 5,000, 30,000, compared to the child support and alimony, it's far cheaper. A lot of men are buying that. But what's gonna happen is gonna be, now before I get into it, virtual reality. Now here's another thing with the whole coronavirus and what's happening. There's a lot of men going to OnlyFans, supporting more women on OnlyFans. Now, there's a lot of guys in the, manosphere, the red pill community, the MGTOW community, and a lot of men in general saying, those guys are simps, those guys are this and that. And, some of it's true. They are simps. But here's the positive. The positive with that is this. They're weaning themselves. They're distancing themselves. What a lot of people don't look at with OnlyFans, and a lot of the women don't understand the consequence of this and how it's actually training women, interaction with women to be more distant, is that OnlyFans is telling men, and what it's done, like back in the day, I'd say 1990s, early 2000s, a lot of men were, they'd buy porn. You'd buy porn, you'd be on cam chats with girls and so on. But, it was looked down upon. It was looked down upon, oh, he has a cam girl who's masturbating or touching herself. What a loser. Now, during the coronavirus, that's been made acceptable with OnlyFans. Women sending you photos or touching themselves and videos and so on. Now, the consequence of this for the women and what they don't get is this. Now, you've made it acceptable for men to validate having a relationship or with a woman online, cam chats and all that. And the thing is this, minus those guys that are dropping $800 or spending their rent, those are the simps or whatever. But there's a lot of guys on those accounts paying, what, 20 a month. If you add up, they're putting 20 a month. They're saving more money than actually encountering a real woman. And what OnlyFans is doing is it's fueling the social distancing of men and women in a relationship. You no longer, I'll give you an example. A guy goes to a bar with his boys, he's drinking a beer, and a real woman comes to him, tries to talk to him, or, like most chicks do, try to get a drink out of him, and he says, I'm all right. I already have a girl waiting for me when I get at home or online. As in, I have a girl I talk to that provides the conversation between a man and a woman on OnlyFans, So what it's doing, what OnlyFans is doing, is it's made it acceptable for men to talk to women and have relations with them online, on not even meet them or physically interact with them. And it's now mainstream. Women are making $800,000. They're making a lot of money off of this, but they don't understand that you're selling out the chance of potentially having physical encounters. Because what's going to happen is, you already have all these false accusations and, all this paperwork. I'm going to get into it further. This video is going to be broken down into parts, But, this, so OnlyFans is actually fueling social distancing when it comes to relationships. So now men could just go online and, get the female attention and validation they need through talking to a woman online. And what the women don't get, the most destructive aspect of OnlyFans is that these women are online And what women don't get is you're aging. And the images of you on OnlyFans, and this is what the internet does, and this is why a lot more women are buying makeup, and that Instagram in actuality is benefiting makeup companies, because the older a woman gets, back in the 90s when a woman got older, unless you saw older photos of her when she was younger, you didn't have access to her, younger image, her youth. But now with Instagram and social media, you can actually scroll down and see, damn, she used to look amazing 5 years ago. So what's going on with the internet is that women, you can't replace the younger image of you from the previous years. So women are buying more makeup. They can't delete the older images because, they need that validation. Look, I had 1,000 or 500,000 likes, 2, 3 years ago. You know what I mean? But the thing is, you can't look like 2, 3 years ago. So one thing the internet has done, it's provided women the means to be haunted by their previous youth. You know what I mean? And then that's what it's done. Where on OnlyFans, and there's some Twitch girls and all that, which are running, softcore porn, basically, on their streams. OnlyFans allows them to be, absolutely sexual. OnlyFans is basically brought cam girls to the mainstream. So now you have these girls on OnlyFans, you know what I'm saying? The thing is this, you're wasting your fertility. You're only getting older, and you're getting less attractive, and you're giving out, and you're making it acceptable for men to interact with women online. You're making it acceptable to where they don't have to meet you in reality. And think about it, in a lot of guys, it's in our, resource management is in our DNA. So a lot of guys are looking at the cost. Okay, if I meet a real woman, I got to pay this, I got to pay, I might, of course, even though equality, they like to talk about equality, I'm most likely going to end up paying a date. Let's say that's $100, then not adding up paying for transportation. It costs more to meet a real woman in reality than it costs to just have an OnlyFans. So what a lot of women don't understand, what OnlyFans is doing is you're weaning men, and making it acceptable for them to not meet you or interact with you in real life. I mean, you already had that with all the false accusation paperwork and all that, you know. So, that's the price of OnlyFans. The price that it's making men, it's giving men far more of a distant relationship. They don't have to actually interact or meet real women. And the thing is, women are literally turning themselves to fast food, and being haunted by the fact that, a new, younger woman coming in, her images of her looking young and fertile are of her right now. While let's say let's say this chick is like 21. She been on OnlyFans for like, let's say 5 years. Her youngest and, most fertile images and videos will be scrolling backwards on OnlyFans, getting her older images versus her new images. Then a younger girl that's doing it, her young images of her are right now. So that's one thing a lot of women don't get about the internet. Like I was saying, so women are what's going on, and why feminism is actually fueling the future. As I mentioned, is that it's now mainstream for men to accept women and sleep with them with, plastic surgery, silicone breast, fake breasts, fake ass, fake thighs. fake face, makeup and so on. And then you have OnlyFans that, what OnlyFans has done, the level of damage it's gonna be doing to the women. And the thing is, it's a lot of men, in the manosphere, it's that running joke, this happens to men, women most affected. And in actuality, they are most affected because let's give this as an example. You got a lot of false accusations being filed against men here and there. Even had one that went to the Supreme Court with Kavanaugh, where there was no evidence at all. You know what I mean? From 50 years ago. What it's done is and it's made men socially distance. Then you had the M2 movement where there's even call outs to just fire men. A lot of men are losing their jobs without evidence needed at all. It's just a complaint. And the reason women are mostly affected is that women, and I like to tell a lot of the guys I know, women, you gotta look at women like a clock. Once they reach their potential of fertility, it's ticking towards they're no longer fertile. As in they can no longer give life to a healthy child. And what all these false accusations are doing is that it's pushing men further away. So that means in the coming years, there's going to be a lot more women reporting as without children. You know what I mean? Women that have not only not dated, but do not have children at all because there's so many facts. It's all over the internet. Men going to jail, for child support that were good fathers. You know what I mean? But she wanted to check over the father. That's what the government placed that incentive. You know what I mean? In the government being what it is, government is basically organized chaos because every time you vote for a new person, they change. They change how they operate. And they wanted to remove, the government doesn't benefit from having good father figures in the household because a father in a male in a woman's life is all about stability and maintaining that stability and not being so chaotic and of routine. The government is the polar opposite of that. Every time you vote in a new group of people, expect a new way of them behaving, new rules, and how they enforce them. As in, every time you vote for a new government, you're voting for like a whole new regime. It's a whole new change. You know what I mean? There's a whole new way of going about business. So, that's what's going on now. The reason feminism is fueling the future is that, okay, I touched up on that. It's made men accept plastic, women made out of, silicone and, makeup and all that. It's made, and then it's pushed men to the point where you can accept a fake, a doll, a sex doll, or as they call them now, dolls, because those dolls are made of exactly what the majority of women are made of. Right now it's silicone. So a lot of these dolls are made out of silicone. Any man who's touched fake breasts, you could go buy a doll and it feels the same way, but you attach the risk that comes with a real woman. The potential for false accusation, domestic, you know, incident and alimony, all the risks that come with having an organic real woman with the silicone. So that's one. You got men comfortable around silicone as a natural state. It's okay, I could sleep, I could touch, the man could, sleep around with his doll, get his rocks on. Now, also you have OnlyFans, OnlyFans is taught men they can get their validation from a woman on a camera, which once was frowned upon, but now with OnlyFans, due to the coronavirus, it's made men look at, it used to be, okay, I'm going to go get me a real girlfriend, I'm a dater and all that. But what OnlyFans has done, no, you could skip that part. You don't need to go directly to that part. You could get a girl from OnlyFans and contact her when you're ready and need some female validation and female attention. And what OnlyFans does is that it's only gonna make the younger women more attractive. They're gonna make their money. And the thing is, what the internet does is I touched up on the previous video, is that the internet basically haunts women. Their younger image of them haunts them because it's always there. So they gotta wear more makeup and so on to cover that up. And what OnlyFans does, not only does it make it mainstream and make it acceptable for men to have the option of, yo, man, I got a girlfriend, my girlfriend's on OnlyFans, or I get attention from this girl on OnlyFans, so I don't need to focus on a real woman in person. So now, what's happening next, what's gonna happen, as I said, feminism is fueling the future. There's a lot of men worried about the whole, dynamics, the social dynamics that used to exist between men and women, dating and so on. So what's happening is this. Another thing that's going to come is we have VR, virtual reality. A lot of people, there was this film that came out where it showed a real guy trying to date a real woman. What's going to happen with VR, and when it gets good, and this is why feminism is fueling the future, because man's biggest weakness is that he needs, quote unquote, he needed a real woman to get female validation and attention. What feminism has pushed is basically making a man realize the riskiest thing, the most dangerous thing to my well-being, my ability to gain resources, my name, my family name, and my reputation is actually, it's a real woman. So, feminism is fueled that, it's never been like this, but it's fueled that women are a threat to men. A threat to their safety and a threat to who they are. You know what I'm saying? So now what's going to happen with virtual reality is that those VR glasses, is what's going to happen is they're going to make some type of suit. And this VR suit is going to allow man to feel whatever he's seeing in that VR world. And what's going to happen is they're going to create, and the thing is this, men are more loyal to, our mind. We're more loyal to the way we think and, our mental. We're more delusional. Where women need makeup and, a shirt or breast implants or whatever to live out their delusion, we men only need our mind. So now you have OnlyFans that's teaching men to go, you could have validation and date a woman online. You know what I'm saying? And then you could buy a doll. But these are not more simple, and it's already happening in Japan. In Japan, they have an artificial woman that, can talk to the man. It can even text them, hello, how are you doing at work? And all that stuff. What's gonna happen, and why I say dolls, especially after what's going on with the coronavirus, the whole social distancing and all that. What's gonna happen with all these sex dolls is and the OnlyFans is that men will move on. They'll move on to a virtual reality. Right now there's a 3D girl. I forget the name, but there was a 3D girl online. She's a 3D model. She's giving men mad attention. It might even be a man behind that 3D model, but a lot of men are giving that 3D model of a woman, CGI woman, a lot of attention. So what's gonna happen is a lot of men are gonna realize, man, OnlyFans, you know what I'm saying? I'm just paying this chick. It's not enough. I can't feel her. I can't touch her. And then the doll, it just costs too much. The magnets, cleaning it and all that, it would be a lot easier if it could do all that by itself, but it's not technologically advanced enough. So what's gonna happen is a lot of men will be able to get all that in VR. They'll be able to get that, a virtual reality suit that gives them, you know, the ability to feel the whole thing. And they'll be able to talk to this AI woman in this virtual reality. You see, like I was saying, there was a virtual reality film. The biggest flaw of that film was that, it said it had a real man. And that thing was written, I think, in the 80s or 90s or early 2000s. You know what I mean? The laws were different between, not that the divorce laws were different, but there wasn't as much of a crazy divide between men and women as they were when that VR film was written. What's gonna happen is that once a VR suit comes out where a man can feel everything, you know what I'm saying? And they'll create a fictional world where a man is a father, a man is you know what I'm saying, has a wife and all that waiting for him in this VR world. And he can experience the, raising a child, holding that child with this VR suit, watching his child grow up in age, and then sleeping with that VR woman and so on. What's gonna happen is the men are gonna move away from OnlyFans. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna move away from buying sex dolls because of the maintenance, the cleaning. You're working all day. You don't have time to come clean up a doll and all that stuff. Their men are gonna look at it as it's less convenient. Then OnlyFans, okay, I'm on camera with this person, I'm watching them, they're sending me stuff, but I'm, that guy's touching himself to get off or something. It won't be enough. But the VR, the virtual world thing will be, so a lot of men, when they create when a VR game is created that can simulate the presence of having a real relationship in a 3D world with, a storyline and so on, even more men will move away from women. You know what I'm saying? And it will create even a higher level of social distancing, because what's going to happen is that the men will social distance themselves from women interacting with them because they risk their job or they risk any encounter, domestic cases and so on. So a lot more men will go into this VR world, where they can live out their dreams in virtual reality. And when this happens, the level of addiction most men will have to this virtual reality, this fake world, will prevent them from coming to the real world. Because, a virtual wife, a virtual house, think about it, in a VR world where a man could be a father, could raise his child, then with his best friends, they could both be fathers and play this game together. More men are going to play these games. It hasn't been mastered. The biggest problem with VR is they're advertising for you to play with other people and playing games. But what's going to happen with VR, because of all the problems with what's going on between women and men due to the laws is that they're gonna come up with a game that simulates life, the way a man wants it to be and how it should be to them, where they could have a family and so on. So more men will participate in this VR world. And a lot of people say, VR costs a lot, but if you can pay 1,000, let's say it costs 10 grand, the suit, the goggles, and the computer to run it and all that, that's still cheaper than you cleaning a real doll. That's still cheaper than the risk of OnlyFans if this woman somehow films or outs you that you have an account or something like that, or you can't really interact with them. So that's one thing. Men are going to move towards virtual reality, so their dependency on female validation and attention, they'll be able to have all that in a virtual world. Now let's keep going further. Now, another aspect that's going to happen is that what feminism and what women don't understand, that what's happening with feminism is that it's going to force men to eliminate their greatest weakness. Like right now we had Space Shuttle X, the shuttle went into space and all that stuff, and they're going to turn space travel into, they're trying to turn it to like a cruise or something like that. Now, what's gonna happen with everything going on is that men are gonna realize for you to go to space, for you to conquer space and territories. Of course, they're gonna do. We're gonna soon have, because we have a space station, and pretty soon with these space stations, they're gonna try to build space colonies and so on. But the problem with going to space is that it takes us 9 months. It takes a woman, after a man has planted his seed in her, it takes her 9 months to give birth. And for men to dominate space, it's gonna require that they can breed or replicate themselves without the assistance or dependency on a woman's organic breeding. So what's gonna happen, just like what's gonna happen, and this is where feminism is truly fueling the future, is that a lot of men are gonna, so now you have that, for us to go to space, we need to be able to breed faster. We need to be able to have our children in a tube, because it takes 9 months, for a woman to give birth, and that's too long. Then you got to feed the woman, you got, and on space, her bone density goes down. There's too much risk to breeding in space. Now, another thing is, now before you even go to space, you look on Earth. The biggest problem on Earth is that you have the issue with all these alimony, child support. The fact that your wife could argue in over 95% of the time she'll receive the child, and you get stuck on child support. Then even in split custody 50-50, you as the man is still paying child support. What men are gonna realize, and they did this before with you could look it up online if you want, where they were breeding a lamb, a baby lamb, in an artificial womb. And that baby lamb, it didn't live too long, but it was born, it fully developed. What's gonna happen is that men are gonna, and it's been proven because we got both X and Y, that you could take a man's cell and replicate or reproduce that man just from a stem cell from his DNA. What's gonna happen is a lot of men are gonna still want children, and there's always that option of going overseas, having a child overseas, you know what I'm saying, and not, not dealing with a woman here domestically with the laws. But the problem a lot of men are looking at is, okay, I have my son or children overseas, but they won't be here with me. I want my child, I want my child to be raised right here with me around my neighborhood where I live. So, now they do have the whole, I forget it, where a woman will have your baby. I think it's called a substitute. I forget the word, but, they have that thing where a woman will give birth to your child. But what's going to happen, and it's already happened, where sperm donors are being charged, child support. They're being charged child support in certain states. You know what I mean? Even though they were sperm donors, they just donated sperm. You know what I'm saying? What men are going to look at is that I can't have, it's too risky for me to even breed or, even have a woman give birth to my child. I think it ain't the substitute. I don't have the word on me right now. It's too risky. So what's going to happen, what's going to happen is that commercially, because a lot of women are getting older and can't have children, or, it's not safe for a child to be grown in their womb because they're older. The older a woman gets, the higher the risk levels of her child having autism and other issues. What they're going to do is, remember, makeup was made by men. A man came up with makeup, and, men gave women the right to vote in the 1920s with the plan. Remember that the government is a group of men with the plan of, using that loophole to no longer need votes from men. What's going to happen is they're going to start advertising to older women. They're going to advertise that, yes, you're 40 years old or you're in your late 30s and you want to have a child. Well, we can have an artificial womb. You know what I'm saying? An artificial womb, and you could have your child there. The child will grow up and be healthier instead of risking autism and sickness in your older womb. That's going to happen. But another thing is, because of what's going on with feminism and everything and how divided the sexes are, they're going to see that, man, a lot of men aren't dating. We need to make some money off of them. So, and another thing is we need to maintain our population. So what's going to happen is man will finally remove their ultimate weakness, and that weakness is dependency on women to have their children. And what's going to happen is they're going to start selling kits or hospitals where they will literally grow your children for you. You know what I mean? Where they'll have artificial wombs, artificial eggs. That, remember, a man has both the X and the Y. So all you need is an artificial womb to grow their child from their own stem cell or sperm, whatever. And what's going to happen to maintain, cellular diversity, and genetic diversity, what's going to happen is this. And, this part might sound a little, what I mean? But what's gonna happen is that men will be able to, let's say you have a best friend, they're gonna be able to splice your DNA with your best friend's DNA, and you'll be able to have a best friend child. A best friend child. It sounds weird and strange, but basically to keep the genetics diverse, because if all they do is just keep breeding, DNA from same men, you won't have biodiversity. You won't have genetic diversity. So they're gonna start splicing, since a man can't splice his DNA with with a woman without the risk of child support. What's gonna happen, and it's gonna happen probably, I'd say, because they grew a lamb. If they can grow a baby sheep in an artificial womb, and like I said, people want to make money, and if it's shown that we're at a record high of men not getting married, and the birth rate has dropped at a record high. We're no longer having children. Not by as much as to replace ourselves. So what's gonna happen is you're gonna have now you have the reason for going to space. You have the reason for the population lowering down, and the government. And who knows? I've been telling people this. This might have been the plan all along. If you can have enough of a divide between men and women, because you gotta look at how men are. How we are when it comes to technology. It used to be said that only God could talk to you without being in front of you. So now we talk over phones, and we could be miles away. We could be in another country and still talk to each other. Then we have video chat where we're miles away and we can see each other. So what's gonna happen is that, this will be another thing men need to solve. Men need to solve, well, the government ain't gonna change, and the women with their incentives to have alimony and child support to make money off of man, they're not gonna fight to change this. They got too much to win. And what's gonna happen is that it's gonna start with the celebrities. We already have celebrities cloning their cats and their dogs. And what's gonna happen is let me use Leonardo DiCaprio for an example. Let's say Leonardo never gets married. He plays it smart, never settles down, and he doesn't even do it overseas. But he wants to have a child, and he goes to a country, and odds are it might be China, a country where they're not, against it happen. They're not as soft. Oh, it's inhumane. It's against God's will. And that's one thing that makes me laugh when people say it's against God's will what you're doing. If it was so against God's will, how can I do it? You know what I'm saying? And isn't it, if I'm like God and so on, what I mean? We're children of God and can replicate what God can do. So what I'm doing isn't against God's wishes. I'm fulfilling his wishes. So you're going to have a country, maybe China or some other country, where they're going to start cloning humans. They're going to start allowing artificial births, where all a man needs to either bring his sperm or his, a stem cell to have a child. And some guy, like, let's say Leonardo DiCaprio does it. You know what I mean? He has his own son, is basically kind of like his clone. And let's say Leonardo gets the agreement. Let's say his best friend in Hollywood is Christian Bale, the dude who played Batman. And he's like, yo, Christian Bale, man, it will be an honor. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to have them clone me. It will be an honor to have, a sample of your stem cells so I can mix it with mine. And we could have a best friend child. Best friend child is basically, it shares both of our DNA. You know what I'm saying? It's both of our sons. Because another reason this is going to happen, and what feminism doesn't, what a lot of women don't get with why feminism is fueling the future, is that a lot of gay men that are tired of just adopting children who want to have their own. This artificial birth will appeal to gay men that want to have children, that don't want to adopt. They want to mix their DNA to have a child. So a lot of the gay men will effectively support this whole thing. You know what I'm saying? And what it's gonna do And what a lot of women don't get is it's going to make interaction with women, it's going to make it further obsolete. Because once you can have an artificial womb and you could breed artificially without the aid of a woman, you know what I mean? You won't need women. It's going to make them obsolete. And, what I'm saying, you're going to have more men doing that. And odds are it's going to happen with the gay man community first. Because a lot of gay men are going to say, man, we're tired of, adopting children and, from the straight people that are neglective and damaging and, that toss away their children. We don't want their children. We want our own. So what's going to happen is gay men will bring about the rise of the artificial birth. Like I was saying, gay men will be the ones that adopt it, along with Hollywood's elite and the wealthy will adopt having a child through artificial means, through going to the doctor where you take their DNA and place it into, some type of hospital and literally grow their child. Because a lot of gay men are going to be retired of adopting damaged children that were abused by straight people. And we want to prove that, we could raise our own children. And we want to have our own children. There it is now, I remember the word, without a surrogate. Without a surrogate, because there could be a risk of that surrogate woman. Remember, we're in America. Any opportunity to make money will be taken. So the risk of a surrogate woman asking for child support, that's going to be too high. Even the gay men are watching what's going on with the straight men. And, they want to remove themselves from it also. So what's going to happen is gay men are going to, volunteer and want to have their own children. They want to mix their own cells to have what I call the best friend child. That's what's going to happen. So a lot of women don't get that. Feminism, and a lot of people in general don't get that. Feminism is fueling the future, the true future that's going on. Man has conquered the sky. Men can fly now with airplanes. Men have conquered, conversation, being able to talk, whether they're close or not. Could be in another country. You know what I'm saying? You could video chat. The next thing that men need to conquer, and it's going on, you know what I mean? What's going to happen is man will want to conquer breeding. Man will want to be able to have a child without a woman. Men will look at women as a barrier, a limitation, and a risk because think about it. A woman could put you on child support and wreck that child's life, that child's, chance of growing up whole, seeing their father and their mother is in danger based on their mother's feelings. You know what I mean? So if their mother feels some type of way about their father is gone. You know what I'm saying? Their father will be removed from their life because mom no longer feels like she cares for their father. You know what I mean? So what's gonna happen, like I said, it's not just for men to conquer space, but men to conquer their future and their legacy. Those men who want to still have children, they're gonna seek the artificial womb to raise their child. And since they don't have a surrogate, they don't have to worry about the government. You know what I'm saying? Those women in the government, or those simpish men in the government, to say, well, I know she's your surrogate, but she deserves child support, because the government makes money off of child support. So the more child support that circulates, the more money the government gets. Then those women spend that money, not on child, what I'm saying? Consumer products get sold more. There's a lot of money. There's a lot of money that's made through, child support and the destruction of the family structure. And it maintains that dependency on the government. When a woman kicks the father out of the child's life, the only reason she's doing that is she can still depend on the government to be their provider and quote unquote protector. You know what I'm saying? I've done some previous videos where I touched up on that, where I touched up on divorce and all that stuff. So, that's gonna be a huge thing that happens. And the thing is, women are volunteering for this. This is why, feminism is fueling the future. A lot of women, I'll give you an example. A lot of women are going into male spaces, and then, football, suing the men, saying sexual harassment and all that stuff. What's gonna happen, and even in video games where they're forcefully putting women in certain roles that, not like, you got Tomb Raider, you got stuff, but they're in films, they're replacing the male roles with the female roles. What's gonna happen, and why feminism is really further fueling the future, is that a lot of men are heading back to the 1930s and 20s and 40s, where men went to bars on their own. They went to their own bars. There were none but men in there, their fellow man. They were talking about sports, business, whatever it is. What's going to happen because of feminism, we're going to, on top of all the stuff I've mentioned on a previous video with men having sex dolls, because women have trained men that, yes, her breasts are made of silicone, her ass is fake, her thighs are fake, her lips are fake. In some cases, the Asian community, her eyes are fake, her nose are fake. You should accept that. So men are going to accept sex dolls because, sex dolls, I've already felt how a silicone woman feels. Then you have the acceptance of, online cam girls with OnlyFans. You know what I'm saying? OnlyFans is training men. It's okay for you to have interaction with a woman without ever actually meeting her. It's okay for you to just talk to a woman online. You pay her for her time and attention, and she'll give you some sexual images and all that. OnlyFans has made it acceptable for a man to have relationships with a cam girl. And what this does, it replaces all the risk of dealing with a real woman, the alimony, the false allegations, and so on. That's what's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, so it's made that more popular. So less men will meet or try to seek out women in real life. And as for the women in OnlyFans, they're gonna spend so much time and money in saying they have an OnlyFans account where they're showing their body to everyone, and they're basically, going around whoring up, being hoes and all that stuff, thoughts, whatever. Most men, by the time they're 30 and so on, you have a trail. Your OnlyFans will be online, all the images. Most men will look at that and say, I ain't marrying that. I ain't touching that. That the risk ain't worth that. That's been all over the internet. She shared herself all over the web. You know what I'm saying? And another thing is, there's a global, economy on this too. Think about it. Those people overseas, those men in India or the Middle East that want an American woman, access to her. OnlyFans opens that up to where those men can even now get access to celebrities. You know what I'm saying? So OnlyFans is further going to expand, and it's going to give a lot of women that retire from that, you were on OnlyFans and you were proudly saying, you were, a thought and whoring it up on OnlyFans, So, it's gonna give men, and OnlyFans really is gonna further document what the women have done in their life. So you are on OnlyFans and you want me to marry you. You want me to have a child by you. So you, you know what I mean? A lot of men are gonna laugh on this. So, and the other thing, I didn't touch up on this is, but because of OnlyFans, it's gonna make men far more distant to real women. It's gonna be like I said, a woman's gonna walk up to you or try to talk to you. She's gonna say, "Hey, how you doing?" And you just gonna ignore her and keep walking. Or you might just say, "Hey, how you doing? I'm all right," and you keep moving because you gotta go meet up or look up the latest video or talk to your OnlyFans girl. You know what I'm saying? And those OnlyFans girls don't get it is that as they age, a younger crop of women are coming. You know. And now another thing I didn't touch up on is what is it? The other part I didn't touch up on was the sugar babies and all that crap. So now sugar babies, aka what it's done, where OnlyFans is made a cam girl mainstream, you know what I'm saying? Made it mainstream. Sugar babies has made it mainstream for women. There are some men, whatever, but it's made women openly mainstream on being gold diggers. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, it's made it mainstream and popular for basically prostitution. You know what I'm saying? Somebody pays for a sugar baby. This girl comes spend time with them and all that. They pay this level of money and they do this with them. They do that. What it's done is sugar babies is exposed and made women proud to be escorts and prostitutes. That's what the sugar babies and stuff like that's done with OnlyFans and all that. You know what I mean? With the sugar babies thing. It's made a lot of women escorts and proud of it. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of women are going out there and proving that if you can pay them, if you can buy them, you can own them, you can have them do whatever you want. And what this has done, you add on the plastic surgery, the OnlyFans, the sugar mamas and all that, it's only proven to men. That woman you thought that had virtue and all this stuff, it doesn't exist. You know what I mean? It's only gonna, like I said, it's gonna push men further towards, you know what I'm saying, artificial interaction with women. You know what I'm saying? And that's what feminism is doing. A lot of men want to talk about the whole, your Peter, I think it's Peter Mule or Jordan Peterson, all these, and then you got those red pill dating people, all that crap. The thing is this, the fact that your girl could be part of OnlyFans, she could be a sugar mama, she could be all this and that, it's proven the image and virtue of a woman and what it's done. It's exposed that to men that this was fictional, and now men literally have the websites to go check and see, that how women were not a as virtuous as they being advertised. You know what I'm saying? They're on OnlyFans, they're on sugar mamas, and another thing is a lot of women with the internet are psychologically damaged because the internet, you can't hide that you looked better when you were younger. A lot of these women on Instagram don't get it that, you're posting. Let's say she had an Instagram when she was 22. Now let's fast forward to she's 27. You know what I'm saying? All the images of her when she was younger, a man could scroll through and like those old images and see, damn, she used to look a lot better when she was younger, or she was more fertile, she was more in shape and toned in the right places. You know what I'm saying? So that's what the internet does. It haunts a lot of women, So now, that, and like I was saying, let me get back to it. Yeah. What we're going to have is we're going to have sexual segregation because of what's going on with feminism and the fact that a man needs, there's false allegations, what is it now? Because what women don't get is they think they have incentives, but the government is basically saying if you're a woman, you're a child. You're legally a child. You can't make any decisions on your own. You can't be responsible for anything because what is it now? I think it's in New York or in certain cities. They've done it to where if a woman has one drink and sleeps with a man, she was not able to consent. You know what I mean? So the government, what women don't get is the government, they're basically saying that you're not an adult. You can't be responsible for yourself or your decisions, and you can't make any decisions. So the government, your daddy government has to take care of you. She didn't consent, you know. And what that's done is with men looking at the high risk, yes, you could get consent forms, but the trick with consent is this, and it happened to a man who got married with his girlfriend, got her to sign a prenup. She didn't have a lawyer. She argued that she felt forced, that she had to do it. The problem with consent papers and forms is that you don't have a lawyer present, and you both don't have a lawyer. She doesn't have her lawyer to file it, and even if the lawyer signs it, you don't have, you know what I'm saying? You would have to film it. Like think about it. Like right now, what Johnny Depp is going through, he had to have audio footage. He had to have audio. He had to have film images. He had to have all this stuff to reveal that his girlfriend was abusing him, and she didn't have no evidence. She just went on to the news and said what she said and slandered that man's name. Now he's in a court case. So what's happened is this, what used to be easy, she got drunk, I got drunk, we did what we did. And the funny thing, how it exposes the biases against men is that, so a man can be drunk while driving. A man could be drunk during a fight, but a man can't be drunk when he slept with a girl. He's got to be accountable for that. So now what this is going to do, because like I said, you can have a consent form, but she needs a lawyer there. You need a lawyer there because in the government's eyes, a woman is a child. She always needs supervision. You know what I'm saying? So even if y'all did sign a consent form, it doesn't really count, you know. And another thing is the trick about the consent form, let's say she had a lawyer there. She did not consent for how long y'all were going to have sex, for how many strokes, how many times you enter her womb, her body. There was no consent on a per second. There's so many loopholes to that consent form. It's, it's even in itself, it's a high risk. You know what I mean? So what's going to happen is that men are going to go back to because this is what the media is doing. The media and a lot of women online they're calling men, they're saying you're gay if you go to a party yourself. You're gay if you go to a restaurant yourself. You as a straight man are not straight if you go anywhere without a woman. But in reality, in the 1920s, 1910s, 30s, 40s, and all that, a lot of men used to go to the bars by themselves. They had bars for men, by men. So what's going to happen, and we're going to have this, is we're going to have sexual segregation when it comes to bars. A lot of bars are going to open up where it's men only. You know what I'm saying? No women. The reason for that is that You know, a lot of, because in certain states, a woman, can, because she had one drink, you know, she could claim that man, she could claim that man raped her. You know what I'm saying? She could claim that man raped her. Give me a minute. Yeah, since she could claim that man raped her because she had a drink, a lot of men running businesses a lot of men running businesses are gonna start segregating their their bars, and segregating, having sexual segregated locations where, men only, you know what I'm saying, man only bar, man only barber shop, man only, this and that, you know what I'm saying? Especially those high risk bars. I think it's gonna happen with the bars first, because the bars won't want to have the risk that comes with a woman claiming she was abused and all that when they were both drunk. So I think a lot of sexual segregation is coming, and really, it's men going back. It's men going back to where, how it used to be. You know what I'm saying? It ain't, you're not straight. That's how it was. Men used to, in the 1910s, 20s, and so on, there were bars where only the men were allowed. You know what I'm saying? And there were groups or, clubs where only the men were allowed. Only a man could be a member. In fact, that's what's going to happen. A lot of clubhouse style bars that behave like a fraternity. You know what I'm saying? In fraternities, only men are allowed. And you're going to have a lot of frat economics. You know what I'm saying? Where there's only men allowed in this bar or this location. We're going to have male fraternity style bars, and that's what's going to happen because of feminism, and what the government was, what was pushed on feminism is to destroy that relationship between men and women to benefit the government. But also, a perspective most men didn't look at is the goal of feminism was to actually remove the dependency of women by men, you know what I'm saying, to breed and to have children. So the next step, and it's coming, is that men will start, like as I said, they will start breeding through artificial means, you know what I'm saying, collecting their own DNA. Men have the X and Y. Men will start mixing their DNA with their best friends. And, a lot of gay men will also support the procedure. And because feminism is, all about being allies and all that, they won't be able to strike it down or attack it. They won't be able to say it's against God and so on. You know what I'm saying? And another thing is, you have, maybe I didn't touch up on this. You have something like, what is that crap that provides? I'll just make another video on that. But in closing, to close this series, it's basically this, man. Feminism is actually fueling the future because it's pushing men further and further towards removing their dependency on women. And the danger for women is that this will make them obsolete. And once they become obsolete, you got to watch a movie, and I got to watch it again, Blade Runner, where, a man is sleeping with artificial women. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing feminism has done, and I almost forgot to touch up on this, is that feminism has removed it has removed the femininity of women. You know what I'm saying? Feminism is sold that, we're equal. In actuality, it's selling that the only men should pretend that we're equal. You know what I'm saying? Because the government said so. Pretend that we're equal. pretend, you know what I'm saying, pretend that we're quote unquote the same. You know what I'm saying? We should pretend that we're equal and all that stuff. So that's what feminism has created. It's created a society based on lies. You know what I'm saying? And this lie is only pushing men further and further away from women. And the next step in that progression of being pushed away is that men will absolutely abandon and start replacing women. You know what I'm saying? Replacing their dependency and need for women. Because what feminism has done, it's forced men to lie. The truth is this: if you wanna, the only thing that's equal between men and women is that can be equal is their honesty between each other that they are not equal. That, you know what I'm saying? Instead of pretending. And in all honesty, when women talk about they're equal to men and all that, it's really a woman gloating on the fact that they could say they're equal when all the laws between men and women say otherwise. So, you know what I mean? As I was stating, man, feminism is actually fueling the future and pushing men towards developing their own stuff and removing their need of women to continue their legacy and bloodline. And another thing it's going to do is it's going to remove the limitation that's keeping us only on the earth, and that's that 9-month window of breeding, that it takes 9 months for a woman to have a child. Now imagine when the technology comes out that they could grow your child within about a month. Within a month, you could have a full-grown child because they put certain vitamins and certain chemicals in that womb to make the kid grow a lot faster. You know what I'm saying? Then when that kid is put out of that womb, they start growing normally. That's what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Feminism is actually fueling towards male and female segregation. And the thing is this, that once it goes all the way, there's no turning back. There's already no turning back due to, you know what I'm saying, OnlyFans and, you know what I'm saying, sugar babies and so on. You know what I mean? But unless women, and here's the thing is this: men could wait this out because our breeding window, our fertility, our window to have children is far longer. But those younger women, those Generation Z and millennial women, no man, the longer the laws stay the way they are, you're gonna lose that window of ever having a child. That's the price women are going to pay for the way the laws are and the way men are being. You got your Johnny Depps, and it's all high profile cases, the M2, you know what I'm saying, where you literally have video of women saying it's okay if that man had a false accusation. And another thing is, you gotta understand the history of false accusation. You gotta look up Emmett Till. Emmett Till was an African, black boy that had a false accusation and was beaten to the point he was unrecognizable. You know what I'm saying? And murdered. And before that woman died, she said it was a false accusation. So what's going on is this, in the long run, this isn't going to affect men as much as women, because men have the option. You could go overseas to have your child and keep them overseas, where the law is more fair and balanced. You know what I'm saying? But the women, they can't really go overseas. They could, but they won't get the life they need or want over here. You know what I'm saying? So what's going to happen is, with the way the laws are, with feminism on alimony, child support, and false accusations and so on. The thing is this, the men, they've already won. The options to go overseas and everything is already there. The problem for the women domestically, the women in America, the women in UK, the women in Australia, any woman where the laws are as they are here. The thing is, you have a certain window to have a child. And the reason most women won't go against it or try to change it is they want that opportunity. I don't want to fight against alimony or child support because I want to be able to take that route when it's my chance and my turn. So, in closing, guys, this has been Hold the Truth Hostage. Hope you enjoyed this entire series, and it's basically feminism is fueling the future. And trust me, man, it's not as negative as everyone else makes it out to be. Peace. They said the truth won't survive beside the lies that maintain the decaying faces